Welcome to The Awakened Heart, a podcast for healing women. This is a place where your voice matters, where your body is sacred, and your journey home to yourself is always honored, no matter how winding the road. I'm Autumn Moran, an LPC, licensed professional counselor, a life coach, and yoga instructor, and ultimately your companion on this messy, sacred path we call healing. Today's episode is for those of us that have shut down, not because we don't care, but because you've cared so deeply and no one possibly cared back. This episode is for the ones who've gone quiet, not because you have nothing to say, but because saying it hasn't felt safe. If you've ever felt emotionally numb, distant, disconnected from joy, or like you're moving through life in grayscale while everyone else seems to be feeling it all in full color, you're not broken, my dears. You're not cold. You're just surviving. And maybe, just maybe, you're ready to come home to yourself again, or for the first time. Small steps, gentle steps, as slow or as quickly as you need it to be. Today, we're going to talk about the shutdown. The stillness that isn't peace, the frozen moments that pass as functioning, and how we begin, little by little, to feel for the first time, or just to do it again. Come back to yourselves. We'll explore what emotional numbness actually is, why it happens, and how trauma and neurodivergence play a role. And if you're someone who's also a parent, let's say a black sheep in your own family, trying to create a new legacy while still healing yourself, you're going to feel seen here too. We'll end with simple breath practice and reflection prompts so you can move through this episode not just listening, but gently returning to your own aliveness. As always, let's take a nice deep breath. You're exactly where you need to be, my dears. This is for you, because emotional shutdown, feeling numb, checked out, disconnected, dissociating isn't something wrong with you. It's something wise your body did to protect you. So let's name it, let's understand it, and let's gently begin the process of coming back to you. So let's name this plainly. Like, numbness is often mistaken for strength. People can say things like, oh, you're so calm, you're so strong, you're holding it together so well. But inside, you're not feeling much of anything, not joy, not sorrow, not connection, maybe just surviving, maybe making sure shit doesn't fall apart, just simply functioning. And that's what we're taught to do, isn't it? Especially as women, especially if we're trauma survivors, are neurodivergent, or my goodness, both. We're told to manage. We're told to push through. We're told to take care of everyone else, even when we've stopped taking care of ourselves. But here's the truth that rarely gets said. This numbness isn't a flaw, and it sure as shit isn't a superpower. It's a protective response, a survival strategy. It's what your nervous system does when things are too much for too long, when the hurt can't be held, when there's no one safe to hold it with you. So it tucks it all away, your feelings, your rage, your needs, until the world feels safer. And honestly, that can take years, decades, generations. You might not even notice it happening, because numbness can wear so many faces. Hyperindependence, emotional detachment, chronic caretaking, distraction disguised as ambition, silence that sounds like peace but feels like absence. To me, what comes to mind with that is like being in a room of all the people that are your BFFs or the people that are closest to you and feeling so alone. Just feeling that absence. That silence, it's heavy. You don't have to judge yourself for this. You don't have to fix it all today. It's not what we're here to do. You can just begin by saying, this makes sense. Of course I feel this way. This is the first crack in the iceberg. There's a reason numbness feels safer than aliveness sometimes. It's not because something is wrong with you. It's just when your nervous system is overwhelmed, when your boundaries are constantly crossed, when there is no consistent safety in your life, your body gets creative. It adapts. And one of the most powerful and quietest adaptations is shut down. Not because you're weak, because you're wired for survival. And, ADHD, autism, sensory processing issues, or something that hasn't even been named yet. The world can feel even louder, faster, brighter. Oh my gosh, how about more demanding than your system can handle? The age-old neurodivergent thing I hear often in my circle is, I feel behind. What comes easy for others is devastating for me, and what is devastating for others is easy for me. Catch-22 of having the superpower, right? So you go numb. You dissociate, detach, retreat. You go from masking to muting, because there's nowhere safe to be your full, messy, beautiful self. I want to say that again, and I want to pause, and I want to really pick it apart for just a second. There's nowhere safe to be your full, messy, beautiful self. Is it perceived no safety, or is it true no safety? The mask that you're wearing, can you stop and start having them dissolve and go away? Can you be more you? Micro movements, micro choices to wear that scarf, to put on pink shoelaces, to do your hair a little differently, to say no when you want to opt out of conversations that just don't feed you anymore. And when you're also a trauma survivor, especially relational trauma, abandonment, betrayal, neglect, emotional abuse, numbness becomes the only space that doesn't hurt. And all those things I've named fucking hurt, right? So I've had enough of that. Let's turn that off. Click, please. So let's name this clearly. You're not lazy, you're not cold, broken, and you're definitely never, ever too much. You are someone who has been doing what they needed to do to survive, to make it in the world with environmental and in relational conditions that are not sustainable. Even if it doesn't look pretty, even if no one else gets it, the numbness isn't proof that you don't care. It's proof that you've cared so deeply for so long without care in return. So if your body has hit pause on feeling, if it did that for a reason, when you're ready, don't force it to open. Just invite it back. Gently, lovingly, safely. Small baby steps. One nice thing in the mirror. One little stretch in the morning before you get out of bed. One positive thing said to yourself before you start the day. There's often wisdom in shutdown. It's your body saying, hey, it's break time. Not forever, but long enough to stop the bleeding, essentially. But here's the hard part. When the shutdown becomes a permanent state, right? When all you're doing is making it through your Monday through Friday and existing in your room or going through the motions to be the parent, the daughter, whatever role you're supposed to perform. When that pause turns into a full stop, when numbness becomes your baseline, you might still get up, go to work, care for others, right? But inside, it's like your spark went dim. Like you just wish there would be something joyful, something gleeful. Give me some glimmers. And that can be terrifying. Especially for women, trauma survivors, Neurodivergent women who have survived trauma, who've spent a lifetime masking and overperforming and feeling everything until they couldn't feel anything anymore. Numbness isn't your identity, my dears. It's not your fault, and it's not forever. We'll get to action steps. I'm still going. Because sometimes numbness isn't obvious. It doesn't always feel like total silence or a blank mind. Sometimes it feels like being really busy, but disconnected. Like going through your day on autopilot. You struggle to remember how you feel about something, but you can list what needs to be done. You delay or avoid joy even when it's available because you don't have the capacity. You scroll for hours without really absorbing anything. You find yourself emotionally flat during moments that should make you cry or laugh. You say, "I'm fine," so quickly you don't even check in to see if it's true. You want connection, but feel tired at the thought of talking to anyone, right? Your spoons are all spent on work or being a mom or playing a role. You care deeply about others, but struggle to locate your own desires. You don't know what to do with stillness, so you fill it with noise, errands, distractions, sleepiness, naps. None of these make you bad or broken. They're signals. They're not shame. They're your nervous system whispering, "We're on pause. We're waiting for safety." And guess what? You get to create that safety right freaking now. Slowly, deliberately, without rushing. Because aliveness isn't all fireworks and huge epiphanies. It's often quiet, small, subtle. It's choosing to breathe on purpose. It's noticing the way lights hit your favorite coffee drink. It's letting yourself cry for 5 minutes and not apologizing. That's what we're moving toward. Coming back to yourself after a season of emotional shutdown isn't about snapping out of it. It's about slowly thawing. Yeah, and like any thaw, it happens one drop at a time. So let's start with something simple. Sometimes not easy. I'm not trying to minimize anyone's efforts or maximize or just discredit anyone. I guess the word I'm searching for is invalidate your experience. I don't want to do that. But a simple but not easy at all times breath work. So wherever you are, just take a moment to pause. If you're driving, listening to this while you're walking, relax the shoulders, relax the jaws. Gently let the face relax. Relax in between the eyebrows, corners of the mouth, just nice and relaxed. You don't necessarily need to change anything here. I would just like you to notice your breath. Feel your body receive it. Notice it if it's sitting in the chest or if it's sitting in the belly. The belly is where you want your breath. Now gently inhale through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly out of the mouth, let it out for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. This time, gently whisper to yourself. On the inhale, you ready? Here we go. When you're ready, shake it out. Get prepared. Inhale deeply. I am safe. Exhale. I am softening. Notice if anything shifts, even if it's subtle. Once more. Inhale, I am safe. Exhale, I am softening. You're not forcing anything here. You're inviting your body to feel safe enough to come back online. This breath won't solve everything, but it can remind you, you are here, you are alive, and you're allowed to feel. If you're ready to start thawing, here are a few trauma and neurodivergent friendly ways to connect. Temperature check-ins. Have a warm tea, especially in the morning or in the evenings, to cool yourself down, to give yourself a nice, not a nightcap because I'm asking for tea, but a nightcap, right? Something nice and gentle for the belly. A cool water on your face, sun on your skin. Anything to fill sensation without overwhelm. Sensory grounding. Touch something textured. Smell something calming. Engage one sense at a time. Micro movements. Wiggle your toes. Roll your shoulders. Stretch your spine like a cat. Nothing big. Just movements that remind you that you're here, just to be in tune with your body when you're wiggling your toes. Hey toes, how you doing, toes? When you're rolling your shoulders, hey shoulders, I see you carrying the weight of the world. Thank you so much. Thank you for being so strong and being here for me. Micro movements, micro agency of how you can be better to yourself. Check in with yourself. Come back to yourself. Feeling identification. So you don't name the emotion, you just ask, is there a sensation in my chest right now? And that's enough. Is there a sensation in my belly, in my back, my hips, my chest, my heart, my head, wherever? Just where is it? Notice the sensation. And of course, always be creative, express. Doodle, hum, scribble. You don't need a masterpiece. You just need a little space to release. You're not coloring to stay in the lines. You're not drawing to sell it to someone. You are here to just be a kid. You can have sensation check-ins. So place your feet on the floor. Notice the temperature of the air. Run your hands under warm water. If you have a weighted blanket or a weighted stuffed animal, place that across your lap. The goal isn't to feel good, it's just to feel something real. You can journal without pressure. I don't know what I feel, but today I notice XYZ. Right now I'm numb because let your pen be your witness, not your critic. It doesn't have to look nice. It doesn't have to be without scribbles and scratches and markouts. Like, let it just be as messy and beautiful, all in its own right. Just get it outside of you, my dears. Find micro pleasures, not joy, not happiness, just glimmers, pleasantness, soft socks, the smell of coffee, a song that reminds you of who you were before the burnout, before the shutdown. You don't need to fix your numbness. You just need to notice that life is still happening and that you're allowed to participate in it again, even slowly. And if none of these feel available yet, that is A-okay, my dears. Even wanting to feel again is part of the return. This is part of the stages of change. First you learn about it, then you think about it, then you plan, and then you actually have action steps, and then you might, what they say, fall off the wagon, and then you start it all over again. So you're in the stages of change. You're in a good spot. Let's talk about the shame spiral really quickly. So many times I hear, why can't I just feel again? I should be more grateful. Everyone else seems to be okay. What's wrong with me? That inner voice, that's not your truth. That's your programming. You've been raised in a family system that taught you your feelings were dangerous. You've been told you were too sensitive, too emotional, or too much. So you shut it down. But your feelings were never the problem. They were your compass. your truth teller, your guide home. You don't need to snap out of it. You need space and safety and slowness. You need compassion, not pressure. If you're the black sheep and a parent, you know how layered this healing journey really is. You didn't just survive the dysfunction, you fucking walked away, or you were pushed out. And now you're trying to raise your own child or children with tenderness you never received. You're trying to be an emotionally available, present parent while still learning what emotional present even looks and feels like. You're the cycle breaker, the legacy builder, the lighthouse. And most days, I bet it's exhausting. You're exhausted. Because being numb while also being needed creates a kind of dissonance that's hard to name. You're pouring from a cup you're still trying to fill. You're holding space while healing. You're teaching your kids about love and safety while figuring out how to believe that in yourself. And to top it all, you might be surrounded by family members who blame you for leaving, who pretend nothing happened, who tell you you're too sensitive or you're always been too dramatic. So you walk alone, not because you want to, but because they wouldn't walk with you. And yet, you still choose love, you still choose softness, you still choose to try, and that is sacred fucking work. It's okay if you need rest. Of course you need rest. It's okay if you can't always be gentle. It's okay if healing feels lonely. You're doing the work that they never did, and that deserves to be honored. This is hard fucking work to heal, to remove the binds that hold us down, the conditioning that we were brought up in, the environments that didn't sit well with our souls or still don't sit well with our souls. If you'd like to take this deeper, I got a few questions that if you'd like to journal them. Maybe just in your heart, maybe just in a notebook. Just some thought. Here we go. What parts of myself have I silenced in order to survive? What would it feel like to soften without falling apart? Where in my life do I want to feel more alive, even just a little? What is one small way I've already broken the cycle, even if no one sees it? What does coming home to myself mean to me today? Not forever, just today. I want you to know this, all these things I'm about to say, because they're real, they're honest, and you need to hear them. You've always needed to hear them. You are allowed to be numb. You are allowed to take your time coming back. You are allowed to feel nothing today and something tomorrow. You are allowed to be soft. You are allowed to be slow. You are allowed to be a work in progress and still be worthy of love, rest, and respect. You don't need to force joy. You just need to let aliveness visit you again in glimpses, glimmers, sparks, and softness. You're carrying a heavy load, my dears, and I'm so proud that you were here for me today to let me just share what I've got for you, and I hope that there was some nugget of something that just helps you feel a little bit more whole, a little bit more alive, and just a possibly little bit of drips of thawness happening. I thank you so much. If this episode has stirred something in you, a memory, a truth, or even a question, I'd love to hear about it. Message me with the link in the show notes, or you can follow me on Instagram at Empowering Wellness Hub and let me know what came up. And if you're craving more support for your healing journey, check out my Linktree. I've got a Spotify playlist made for women healing through softness and strength. All good stuff there. I've got a boundary bundle that's about 15 minutes audio recording to help you just start your journey on establishing boundaries, and more resources for your voice, body, and your power. Please don't forget to follow, share this episode with someone who needs it, and take what you need, and please leave the rest. Until next time, may you be happy and free. May mine and your healing ripple outward to bless the world with happiness and freedom. Take care of you, and I'll see you soon.